4th, 1973, at an extraordinary general meeting of the company which my client, Mr. Cummings, controlled, Icarus Properties, the defendant, Mrs. Simon, circulated a number of broadsheets, of which you have copies, accusing my client for being responsible for the deaths of her husband, Louis Simon, and of Mrs. Hammond in an air crash on April the 7th. Mr. Cummings was piloting the plane which crashed, a plane which he incidentally also owned. Now, if you look at the documents before you, members of the jury, you will see at page 1 the broadsheet circulated by Mrs. Simon. You will see that there it is alleged that he, that is Mr. Cummings, was an experienced pilot. He would not make an error of judgment. His responsibility for the deaths of Mr. Simon and Mrs. Hammond, therefore, is not connected with a flying error. The cause of the crash is to be sought elsewhere. Now, members of the jury, nothing could be more plainly libelous. Mrs. Simon further says that Mr. Cummings suffered from a medical condition which disqualified him from holding a pilot's license, and which he failed to notify to the Civil Aviation Licensing Authority. And she says, and goes on to say, that if this medical condition is not the cause of the accident, then the accident occurred because Mr. Cummings deliberately flew the aircraft into the ground in an attempt to kill himself, to commit suicide. This, Mrs. Simon states, is what she meant. This, she asserts, is true, and this, my client will tell you, is quite untrue. I call the plaintiff Edward Cummings. You are Edward Joseph Cummings of Avebury Hall, Hayden, near Fulchester?
I am.
And you are the plaintiff in this case?
That is correct.
You are chairman and managing director of the company Icarus Properties?
Yes.
Now, you were the owner of a light aircraft known as a Lapwing,
yes.
the Porter Lapwing.
Yes.
And you were piloting that aircraft on the day that it crashed near Fulchester Aerodrome?
I was.
Yes. A Porter Lapwing, Mr. Cummings. How would you describe this aircraft in non-technical language?
Well, it's a twin-engined, low-wing monoplane capable of carrying 4 people.
Now, Mr. Cummings, why did you take Mr. Simon up with you?
Well, I have some property near Fulchester, near the aerodrome, and I was showing it to Mr. Simon in the hope that he'd put up some capital and help me develop it.
How long have you held a private pilot's license?
About 7 years.
And since you qualified as a pilot, how many flying hours have you logged as pilot in command?
1,620 hours.
How many hours have you flown in Golf Alpha Papa Mike Papa?
About 600 since 1970 when I bought the aircraft.
I see. Now, you took off from Fulchester at 2:28 on April the 7th.
That is correct.
With Mr. Simon and Mrs. Hammond as passengers.
So I believe.
So you believe? Aren't you certain, Mr.
Well, they must have been on board because they were found in the wreckage, but I only remember Mr. Simon being there.
My lord, as a result of the crash, as a result of striking his head, my client is still suffering from partial amnesia.
Indeed.
Well, it is, I understand, my lord, quite a common phenomenon amongst crash victims.
Yes, Mr. Cummings, is the position then that you remember nothing of this flight?
No, my lord, I can remember some bits of it, but well, it's no use pretending I can recall it all.
And you cannot remember Mrs. Hammond being present?
No, my lord, but she must have been, mustn't she?
So it would seem, Mr. Cummings. Thank you, Mr. Ingram.
Now, Mr. Simon had been your business partner at one time, had he not?
Yes, we owned Icarus Properties jointly till I bought him out.
And the purpose of this flight was to survey a property in which you wished to interest Mr. Simon?
Yes.
Now, what did the aerial survey involve?
Well, I remember flying a circuit of the property.
A circuit?
A rectangular course, banking at each corner.
And at what height were you flying?
About 1,600 feet.
What did you do whilst you flew the circuit?
Well, we were close to Fulchester Aerodrome, so I kept in radio contact with the tower. Air traffic control, my lord. Telling them my height and heading as I changed course.
Now, why did you do that?
Well, we were in Fulchester's control zone.
My lord, this might be a convenient moment to refer to the recording, the tape recording of Mr. Cummings' conversations with air traffic control, which I mentioned.
Yes. Are these agreed, Mr. Parsons?
Yes, my lord.
Is it normal for control towers to record conversations with pilots in their control zone?
Oh, yes, I understand it is, my lord. By law, air traffic control are required to keep such tapes for 30 days.
I see, thank you.
Mr. Cummings, do you remember talking to air traffic control?
Yes.
Do you remember talking to anyone else?
Well, I remember talking to Louis, Mr. Simon, as we were flying the circuit. We were both in the front seats wearing the pilot's headsets and microphones.
And where was Mrs. Hammond at this time?
I don't know.
And now, what happened between flying the circuit that you mentioned and the crash?
I don't know. The next thing I remember is waking up in hospital. They told me I'd been there for 3 days, but I don't remember anything of it.
Do you remember taking off?
No. All I remember is driving along the motorway to Fulchester to meet Louis Simon for lunch.
What about after that?
Nothing. Well, that's not quite true. I remember flashes.
What do you mean by flashes, Mr.
Well,
Cummings?
small things like ordering Louis Simon a Bloody Mary and Louis Simon and April Hammond having a hell of a row.
What was this row about?
Well, he was about to give her the heave-ho, and she was pretty wild about it.
I see. Where did the row take place?
Gee, I'm not sure.
Well, could it have been in the aircraft?
My lord, this witness has just said he doesn't know where the incident took place.
My lord, I shall shortly be calling evidence which will suggest quite a different cause of the accident from that proposed by Mrs. Simon.
Then I would suggest that you pursue that evidence with a witness whose memory is a little more reliable.
As your lordship pleases. My lord, I think we are now ready to play the tape recording made by air traffic control.
Yes.
Colchester Tower, this is Golf Alpha Papa Mike Papa, turning on to 340, maintaining 1500 feet.
Roger, Mike Papa, 340 at 1500. Would you check your press to talk transmission button, please?
Say again?
Mike Papa, you're intermittently stuck on transmit and cluttering this frequency, over.
Mike Papa, roger.
Colchester Tower, this is Golf Bravo Alpha X-Ray Oscar at the Marter.
Roger, X-ray Oscar. The QFE is 1004. You're clear to land runway 27. Surface wind at 280 degrees at 10. Be advised there is one light aircraft maneuvering at 1500 feet 2 miles north of the airfield.
Roger, X-Ray Oscar.
Colchester Mike Papa, turning right onto 060, maintaining 1500.
Look, Louis, I thought you wanted to see the property. Don't you want to?
It's no good.
I've had enough. I can't go on with this any longer.
Colchester Mike Papa, turning.
Mike Papa, your transmitter is open. You're blocking this frequency.
Turning.
Hey, what are you trying to do? Kill us all? Ted! God! Jesus!
The message ceases there. The aircraft crashed in a field a mile from Fulchester Airport. Mr. Simon and Mrs. Hammond were killed. Now, Mr. Cummings, did the defendant, Mrs. Simon, come to see you after the crash?
Well, she came to see me once or twice while I was in hospital.
Did she appear to be well disposed toward you?
Well, to begin with, she was friendly. I think she just wanted to talk to someone about Louis. So the trouble is, I'd known him well. She kept trying to make out he was some kind of saint, the perfect husband. Well, that he wasn't.
Mrs. Simon seemed to you to be expressing a rather fanciful view of her husband.
Fanciful's hardly the word for it, my lord. She was kidding herself, and she knew it. She was just trying to work up some genuine grief.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Cummings?
Well, we both knew he was an old goat.
Did you tell Mrs. Simon about him and April Hammond?
Yes, I did.
What was Mrs. Hammond's relationship with Mr. Simon?
Well, everyone knew that she
My
was...
lord, this is hearsay.
Yes, but he is merely being asked what he told the defendant.
I will rephrase the question if my learned friend so desires, my lord. Mr. Cummings, did you have reason to believe that Mr. Simon and Mrs. Hammond, did you see them frequently together?
Yes, sir.
Were they, as far as you could see, on intimate terms?
Oh, yes. In fact, at a party at my place, I actually saw them being intimate.
By what right does
And
this
April
man say
Hammond
such
wasn't
things
the only
about
one
Louis?
either.
Mr. Cummings! Mrs. Simon, I realize that this must be very painful to you, but you must not interrupt the proceedings.
Nevertheless, my lord, these are vicious allegations to make against two people who are dead and cannot defend
It
themselves.
is sad that these allegations should be made, and I'm waiting for Mr. Ingrams to show me how they are relevant.
Yes, my lord. Did you tell Mrs. Simon about their intimacy?
Yes, I did. I told her to stop kidding herself.
Yes. Now, Mr. Cummings, you spoke of other women besides Mrs. Hammond. Now, do you know this of your own knowledge?
Yes, my lord. Louis was keeping at least one other girl in a flat in London, in Knightsbridge. Now, she was about 19. He liked them young.
And did you tell Mrs. Simon this too when she visited you?
Yes, I did.
How did she behave when you told her?
Hysterically.
And did she then accuse you of being responsible for the death of her husband?
Well, she was very hysterical.
Please answer the question that you were asked, Mr. Cummings.
I'm sorry, my lord. Yes, she practically accused me of murder.
Murder?
I thought she was overwrought. I mean, I was flying the plane when Louis was killed.
Mr. Cummings, in her alleged libel, which Mrs. Simon distributed at your shareholders' meeting, She alleged that you were suffering from a medical condition which made you ineligible to hold a pilot's license. Now, did Mrs. Simon ever state what that condition was supposed to be?
Epilepsy.
Mrs. Simon said that you were epileptic.
Yes.
Are you epileptic?
No, I'm not.
Have you ever received medical treatment for epilepsy, fits, dizzy spells?
No, I have not.
And did you have to complete Civil Aviation Authority medical form in order to obtain your license?
Yes, I did.
My lord, medical form 46, the one completed by Mr. Cummings last year, is at page 35 in the agreed document.
Yes, page 35. Have you got it?
As your lordship will see from this, there is no indication whatever that the plaintiff suffered from epilepsy, dizziness, nervous trouble, nor that there is any family history of epilepsy. Now, Mr. Cummings, could such an accusation affect your business career?
It not only could, it did.
In what way?
Well, after I bought Louis out, Icarus Properties became a one-man band. And no one in his right senses is going to back you if he thinks you have fits.
No. Thank you, Mr. Cummings.
Now, Mr. Cummings, you knew April Hammond prior to the crash.
Yes, yes.
Was she your mistress as well?
She had been a few years ago.
Yes. Other people's reputations don't count for much with you, do they, Mr. Cummings? Now, Mr. Cummings, what is your financial position?
My lord, I cannot see how this is relevant to the case.
I can, Mr. Ingrams, and the witness will answer.
Well, I haven't got my bank statement with me at the moment.
Is it not true, Mr. Cummings, that your company, Icarus Properties, has just gone into voluntary liquidation?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Cummings, let's return to this question we were talking about a few minutes ago, the liquidation. You blame Mrs. Simon for this, do you not?
Yes.
But this alleged libel did not occur until after you had called an extraordinary general meeting of your shareholders.
That's right. That's when she turned up with the broadsheets.
Yes, so why did you call an extraordinary general meeting in the first place?
Well, things were a bit sticky.
A bit sticky. Surely Icarus Properties were on the verge of bankruptcy then, were they not?
Well, cash was a bit tight. Anyway, I'd been in hospital. But we still owned the Fulchester property.
Which is what you were trying to sell to Louis Simon when you took him up in your aeroplane,
Yes.
were you not? And as we have heard on the control tower tape recording, Mr. Simon wasn't interested.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Ah, thanks to your partial amnesia. But how else would you interpret your own words on the control tower tape recording?
Which words?
Well, you said, I thought you wanted to see the property. Don't you want to?
Yes, but you never hear Louis actually say, no, he wasn't interested in the property.
We don't actually hear Mr. Simon say anything at that point.
No, I know
Obviously,
you don't.
his reactions were unenthusiastic, otherwise you wouldn't have said what you did.
But Louis was like that.
Like what?
Well, he liked to haggle. He enjoyed beating you down.
In that case, if he was haggling, your replies would have been different, would they not?
How?
Well, I mean, isn't it a tactic, for example? Perhaps to suggest that you had another client who was very interested in the property.
I don't know. It's your game, not mine.
You see, your replies suggest despair, do they not? Not the excitement of the business deal. And later, in the same recording, you say, and I quote, It's no good. I've had enough. I can't go on any longer.
Well, I couldn't, could I? I mean, if Louis wasn't interested in the property, and I don't know whether he was or he wasn't, but I couldn't go on flying around in circles in Fulchester Airport's traffic ban. It stands to reason.
But there is an alternative interpretation of your remarks, is there not?
I can't think of one.
I can't go on any longer. Suggests, does it not, that you're at the end of your tether?
No, not necessarily.
Well, I would suggest if this was found in a letter, the only interpretation would be that it was a despair of life, an intention to commit suicide.
No.
My lord, I submit that witnesses are not here to speculate about the construction of letters.
Yes, I agree, Mr. Parsons.
My lord. Mr. Cummings, before this crash, when you bought out Mr. Simon's holding in your company, it is true to say, is it not, that you had every expectation of becoming a property tycoon yourself?
Well, about tycoon, but yes, I hope to make a success of things.
And you've said that Mrs. Simon's accusations that you were an epileptic have ruined your business career.
Well, it didn't do it any good.
Yes, but this could all have happened at any time, could it not?
What do you mean?
Well, Suppose, for example, that you had been refused a pilot's license because you took epileptic seizures. This would have the same effect, would it not, as Mrs. Simon's disclosures?
That's pure speculation. And anyway, how could anyone know I'd been refused a pilot's license on medical grounds? That sort of information is confidential.
But you'd have to have given up flying. And isn't a pilot's license renewable every 12 months?
Yes, but the medical information on Form 46 is confidential.
Yes, but it doesn't alter the fact that you wouldn't have been able to fly yourself. Wouldn't your friends perhaps have suspected there were some medical reasons for this?
Are you suggesting...
It would therefore be in your own interest, would it not, to deny the existence of any such seizure?
You're suggesting that I broke the law. Withholding that sort of information is a very serious offence.
Well, an additional reason, surely, for keeping silent about your attacks.
You're presuming that I lied about being an epileptic. I didn't.
Have you ever heard the expression, petit mal?
No.
Did you say you've never suffered from a temporary absence of mind, a blank moment?
No, never.
Now, how much were you hoping to sell your Fulchester property for?
I didn't want to sell it. I was hoping Louis would put up some capital and help me develop it.
Yes, but surely there were other sources of finance.
Yes, well, Louis was my best bet. I knew him. We'd been partners.
Yes, but obviously he wasn't interested. It's strange, isn't it, how you only remember certain things, like flying a circuit, buying a Bloody Mary, and, of course, the argument between Mrs. Simon and Mr. Hammond.
That's the effect of partial amnesia, so I'm told.
Yet you don't remember Mrs. Hammond being on board.
No.
But you have admitted that you were Mrs. Hammond's lover at
Yes.
one time. When?
Oh, about a year or so ago.
Yes, about the time you bought Mr. Simon out.
Yes.
Now, how did the affair come to an end?
Usual way.
Enlighten us, Mr. Cummings. What is the usual way?
Well, we decided we'd had enough. It was all quite amicable.
And Mr. Simon took over your discarded mistress?
Yes.
Or had you not discarded her? Did he, in fact, not take her away from you?
Oh, look, Louis Simon was an old man.
Well, he was 52 when he died.
Yes, well, maybe not an old man, but no, he didn't take her from me.
You passed Mrs. Hammond over to him quite amicably.
Yes. She was like a well-used car. She'd had plenty of owners.
Or did she perhaps decide to give up one property speculator for another property speculator who was immeasurably more successful?
I don't know. You'll have to ask her, won't you?
Mr. Cummings.
It's of no importance, my lord.
It is to me, Mr. Parsons.
I apologize, my lord.
Mr. Cummings, what was the property in which you were trying to interest Mr. Simon?
Well, it was an old factory site near the airport.
Yes, and how did you propose to develop this site?
Well, I wanted to build a hotel and office complex.
Yes, you had submitted plans to Fulchester Corporation Planning Department.
Yes.
And had these plans been accepted?
Well, not exactly. We were in the throes of making some alterations.
That's not the question I asked, Mr. Cummings.
No, the plans for that particular project had not yet been accepted. We were amending them.
Isn't it true, Mr. Cummings, that Fulchester Corporation Planning Department in fact turned down your proposed office and hotel complex?
Yes, but that wasn't final. It happens all the time in the property game.
It couldn't have happened at a worse time for you, could it?
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, you didn't have enough money to develop the property yourself. Otherwise, you would have had to go to Mr. Simon.
All right, so I didn't have money available, but I'd have got planning permission in the end.
Not for an hotel and office complex, apparently.
You don't know that.
Well, Mr. Simons must have been equally doubtful about your chances.
I didn't say so.
How do you know? You don't remember what he did say.
Well, he must have been interested, or he wouldn't have come up in the plane to look at the site, would he?
I don't know, Mr. Cummings. Nevertheless, it does seem surprising, does it not? He should take his mistress on a purely business flight.
Oh, Louis was like that. He always combined business with pleasure.
You sound bitter. Do you resent the fact that you had to approach Mr. Simon to finance your project?
Resent? No. I'd have preferred to do it on my own, that's all.
Still, it must have been a curious situation, Mr. Cummings.
Why?
In that aeroplane.
How?
Well, I mean, there you were, flying your one-time business partner with your ex-mistress, now his mistress, over a property you had no permission to develop, and presumably all the time trying to extract large sums of money from him. It's no wonder you felt bitter.
I told you.
And when
didn't.
Louis Simon showed no interest in that site, in that white elephant you had bought, did you then decide to end it all, to commit suicide?
No.
Well, how can you be so sure? Or has your partial amnesia suddenly become less partial? No further questions, my lord.
Mr. Cummings, have you ever experienced anything that you would remotely describe as an epileptic seizure?
No.
Prior to the crash, have you ever felt bitter or resentful about Louis Simon?
No, never.
Is it usually difficult to raise money for property development?
No, I never had any trouble.
But since Mrs. Simon alleged libel, has financing your projects become more difficult?
Very much so, yes.
As a result of the crash, were you seriously injured?
Yes, I was in hospital for 3 months.
Oh, you were an experienced pilot, Mr. Cummings. If you had intended to take your own life in your own aircraft, is a crash 1 mile from Fulchester Airport the method you would choose?
No. If I'd been going to kill myself, I wouldn't have flown into the deck from 1,500 feet. No one would.
Deck?
The ground, my lord. How would you take your own life, Mr. Cummings?
Well, I'd put the plane into a power dive from 5,000 or 10,000 straight into the side of a hill. There'd be no likelihood of ever walking away from that.
No. Thank you, Mr. Cummings.
Yes, you may leave the witness box now, Mr. Cummings.
Sure.
I call Dr. Charles Hayward, my lord.
Yes.
And Mr. Cummings is one of your patients.
He is.
How long has he been a patient, Doctor?
Oh, about 5 years.
Now, what would you say is the general state of his health?
Very good. At least it was until the crash.
Now, during the time that he's been your patient, has Mr. Cummings ever complained of sudden spells of absent-mindedness or anything, indeed, that would suggest to you that he might be suffering from epilepsy?
No, sir.
Now, do you only meet Mr. Cummings professionally, or do you meet socially?
Oh, I know him well. We belong to the same golf club. We go to the same cocktail parties. In fact, I see far more of him socially than professionally.
So you'd have had many opportunities to study his behaviour.
Oh, yes.
And have you ever at any time had reason to suspect that Mr. Cummings might be epileptic?
I have not, sir. The idea is utterly preposterous.
Dr. Hayward, have you ever, for any reason, prescribed for Mr. Cummings any anticonvulsant drug?
I have not.
Thank you, Dr. Hayward.
Dr. Hayward, it is true, is it not, that epilepsy can be a great embarrassment to the sufferer,
Oh, yes, undoubtedly.
because the fits or attacks can be embarrassing socially.
Yes.
Yes. Could you describe to the jury the symptoms of such an attack?
Well, the epileptic usually has warning of a coming attack. It begins with violent convulsions of the muscles. The patient usually goes rigid. He collapses. Then the convulsions occur, jerking of the arms and legs, violent contractions of the abdominal muscles, which may cause the patient to lose control of his bowels. The jaws work. Sometimes the tongue is bitten.
How long does this type of attack last?
Oh, it varies. Anything from a few minutes to several hours.
And after the seizure, the patient usually becomes unconscious, does he not?
That is so.
Now, what you have described to us is what is known as a grand mal, is it not?
It is.
Now, is that the only type of epileptic seizure there is?
No, there is also what is known as a petit mal.
Petit mal is a much milder form of attack, is it not?
Yes.
Does it last as long as the other type?
No.
Is it as violent a seizure?
No.
Does the patient usually become unconscious afterwards?
Not at all.
No. Now, what is a petit mal absence?
Well, it almost literally defines itself. It's a temporary absence, an abrupt loss of consciousness.
How long does this last?
A few seconds.
Now, is there any way in which you can tell if someone is suffering from a petit mal absence?
Well, only by their vacant expression, facial pallor. Sometimes it's accompanied by a fluttering of the eyes.
It is something, in fact, which might not be noticed at all.
Possibly.
Yes. Now, you said you had professional and social contact with the plaintiff, Mr. Cummings.
Yes.
Did you see him every day?
No.
Once a week?
No.
So, in fact, Dr. Hayward, Mr. Cummings could suffer from petit mal seizures without your knowing.
Well, I
So,
suppose.
just answer the question, yes or no, please, Doctor.
Yes, it's possible.
The case of Cummings versus Simon will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. A light aeroplane crashed. The 2 passengers were killed. Only the pilot, Edward Cummings, survived. What was the cause of the crash? Mrs. Simon, the widow of one of the passengers, voiced her suspicions. This is the second day of the libel case, Cummings versus Simon in Fulchester Crown Court.
Dr. Hayward, regarding this medical condition which my learned friend has called a petit mal absence, have you ever at any time observed such a lapse of consciousness on Mr. Cummings' part?
Only when he's putting, sir.
It's comforting to know, Doctor, that one's failure with the putter can be due to an epileptic condition.
No, that's not what I meant, my lord. All I meant to say was that I do not believe that Ted Cummings has ever suffered from any form of epilepsy.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor. You may leave the witness box.
I call Alfred Donahue, my lord. You are Alfred Tresco Donahue of 17 Birch Grove, Guildford, Surrey.
I am.
And you were an inspector of accidents employed by the Department of Trade and Industry.
To be precise, I was an inspector of accidents in brackets operations.
Oh, and what is the significance of the brackets, Mr. Donahue?
It differentiates my job from that of inspector of accidents engineering.
In brackets?
Yes, my lord.
What are your qualifications, Mr. Donahue?
5 years in the RAF, followed by 16 years as an airline pilot, and 7 in the accident investigation branch of the DTI, Department of Trade and Industry. My lord.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Donahue, but it would be helpful if we could avoid abbreviations.
As your lordship pleases.
What is your present occupation, Mr. Donahue?
I am a consultant on aviation matters to several private companies.
I see. Now, have you read the report on the crash near Fulchester Aerodrome in which Louis Simon and April Hammond were killed?
I have, sir.
My lord, the Civil Aviation Accident Report, number 24A/73, is another agreed document. You will find it at pages 4 to 11 of the agreed bundle.
Yes, I have it, Mr. Ingram.
How does the investigation team go about establishing the cause of the accident?
Once one has identified the registration number of the aircraft, its type, where it was being flown to, then one attempts to establish the impact attitude of the aircraft. That is to say, its attitude in pitch, roll, and heading.
Mr. Donahue, could you elucidate in non-technical language?
Pitch, my lord, is the angle at which the aircraft struck the ground. Roll is the angle of the wings, and heading is
the direction in which it was flying.
Yes, correct, my lord.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Donahue.
Now, Mr. Donahue,
Then one must also establish the configuration of the aircraft.
The what?
That is to say, my lord, whether the flaps were down or up, whether the engines were under power or not, whether the undercarriage was retracted or not.
Thank you, Mr. Donahue, for being so instructive. Thank you, Mr. Ingram.
Lord. Mr. Donahue, now, does the accident report mention any mechanical defect which must have existed in the aircraft prior to takeoff?
Yes, sir, it does.
What is that defect?
Well, interestingly enough, according to the report, there was a fatigue crack in the heat exchange unit of the cabin heater system.
Now, what would be the effect of such a crack?
Carbon monoxide gas would be present in the cabin itself during the flight.
I see. And what would be the effect of the presence of carbon monoxide gas upon the pilot?
The effect is very similar to that of alcoholic intoxication, drunkenness.
The effect on the pilot would be akin to alcoholic intoxication?
Yes, sir, it would.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Donahue.
Mr. Donahue, does the Civil Aviation Accident Report give any single cause for the crash of Mr. Cummings' Lapwing aircraft?
No, sir, it does not. The report establishes 2 facts. 1, the existence of a fatigue crack in the heat exchange unit, and 2, that when the aircraft struck the ground, it was under power. That is to say, the engines were on.
Now, how does this heat exchange system work?
Well, according to the scientific... It has a special heater system fueled from the main tanks like a small oil stove, you might say.
So any defect in the heating system wouldn't affect the performance of the aircraft in flight?
Not mechanically, no, sir.
But the carbon monoxide fumes might have affected the pilot.
Indeed, it has been known.
And you said that carbon monoxide poisoning is akin to drunkenness.
Yes, sir.
Now, does the report indicate whether there was sufficient carbon monoxide in the cabin to have affected the pilot?
No, sir, it does not.
And were the bodies of Mr. Simon and Mrs. Hammond subjected to certain tests?
Yes, sir. Tissue samples were taken from the deceased and sent for gas chromatography.
Oh, and what is that, Mr. Donahue?
It is a test, my lord, whereby the presence of carbon monoxide and various drugs can be detected.
And was there any signs of carbon monoxide in the tissue samples taken from the 2 passengers?
No, sir, there was not.
So it would be true to say, would it not, Mr. Donahue, that there is no proof that Mr. Cummings was overcome by carbon monoxide?
There's no simple answer to that. Because of the fatigue crack, there must have been carbon monoxide present somewhere in the cabin. But in what quantity or what particular effect it would have had on Mr. Cummings, I cannot say.
Yes. Now, Mr. Donahue, the engines were under power when the plane crashed. Presumably, Mr. Cummings had not turned off the fuel cocks by the moment of impact.
There's no need to presume, sir. He hadn't.
But wouldn't turning off the fuel cocks be correct emergency procedure for an experienced pilot?
It is laid down in the manuals, sir.
Yes. And apart from the fatigue crack, it would be true to say, would it not, that the plane was in good mechanical order?
Yes, sir.
And that weather conditions were suitable for flying.
Yes, they were.
Now, Mr. Donahue, in the Civil Aviation Accident Report, Section 1, Part 1, it says that Mr. Cummings' aircraft went into a 90-degree dive and started to spin. It recovered at ground level, but the port wing touched.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, is that a maneuver that an experienced pilot would attempt at 1,600 feet?
No, sir. In layman's language, that is a recipe for sudden death.
Yes. When is an aircraft most prone to spin?
When it is mishandled in a steep turn.
Mishandled in what way?
Well, the aircraft may have 60 degrees of bank on it and be pulling 2 to 3 G. If the pilot doesn't handle the controls with sensitivity, he's in trouble.
Yes. Now, Mr. Cummings would appear to have been attempting just such a turn before his crash, would he not?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Donahue, one of the symptoms of an epileptic seizure is a sudden tensing of the muscles. If a pilot suffered a sudden muscular tension or rigidity, what effect would that have on the performance of the aircraft that he was flying?
Well, any tensing of the hands on the controls would tend to increase the G, causing a high-speed stall.
Yes.
The aircraft would flick and go into a spin.
Yes. And if the pilot lost consciousness for a moment at the same time, he'd be unable to correct that spin.
That is so, sir.
Yes. Now, Mr. Donahue, as an aviation expert, would you say that the circumstances of Mr. Cummings' crash were consistent with him having suffered a petit mal seizure?
Well, there are many other...
Are the circumstances consistent, Mr. Donahue?
Yes, the crash is consistent with a petit mal seizure.
Thank you. No further questions, my lord.
Mr. Donahue, just a minute, Mr. Ingrams. Mr. Donahue, to your knowledge, is there any record of an epileptic seizure causing a plane crash?
Yes, my lord, there has been one to my knowledge.
Yes, but surely, in order to obtain a pilot's license, a man must undergo a most stringent examination.
Yes, my lord, but only if a pilot is over 40 is an EEG compulsory.
Abbreviations again, Mr. Donahue?
I'm sorry, my lord. EEG, electroencephalograph. This is a machine that can detect abnormal activity in the brain, like epilepsy.
Mr. Ingrams, how old is the plaintiff?
36, my lord.
Thank you. Pray continue.
My lord. Mr. Donahue, there is a point I should like to clarify, if I may. Now, you said that there must have been carbon monoxide present in the cabin.
Yes, sir.
And you further said that the effect of carbon monoxide in sufficient quantity would be to induce an euphoric condition akin to alcoholic intoxication.
That is so, sir.
Now, Mr. Donahue, in your expert opinion, would such a condition account for Mr. Cummings losing control of the aircraft?
Yes, sir, it would.
It would? Thank you, Mr. Donahue.
Thank you, Mr. Donahue. You may leave the witness box.
The final witness for the plaintiff is Judith Turner, my lord.
Yes.
Now, you were a friend of April Hammond's.
Her best friend, yes.
You confided in one another?
Well, what else are best friends for?
Now, you knew of her relationship with Mr. Simon.
Oh, yes. Yes, she told me all about it. Poor cow.
You were sorry for her?
Well, of course. Louis was an old swine. Well, look at the way he treated her.
And how did he treat her?
April had been with him for nearly 2 years. Well, that's a long time, particularly when you're April's age.
How old was Mrs. Hammond?
She must have been 28, my lord, more or less. Well, she said that Louis had told her how he'd get a divorce.
This is hearsay, Mr. Ingram.
Yes, my lord, it is.
What does that mean, my lord?
It means, Miss Turner, that your evidence must be direct. You may not say what someone told you that someone else has said.
Oh, I see. But April did tell me about...
Yes.
Miss Turner, perhaps I could rephrase the question, my
It
lord.
would be helpful, Mr. Ingram.
Yes, my lord. Miss Turner, is it true to say that Mrs. Hammond had reason to suppose that Mr. Simon intended to marry her?
Yes.
Apart from the fact that Mr. Simon was already married, Mrs. Hammond herself was married.
That wasn't a marriage. That was a sick joke.
Now, to your knowledge, did Mrs. Hammond press Mr. Simon to marry her?
Constantly, yes. Well, for the last 2 weeks before the crash, anyway. She was on at Louis all the time.
About marriage?
Of course. I tell you, April was getting desperate.
Why?
Well, she'd found out that Louis was keeping another woman somewhere, in a flat. Well, it was only a kid, she said, but she was pretty choked about it all the same.
And when did Mrs. Hammond discover that she had a rival?
About 2 days before they went to Fulchester.
Knowing this, nevertheless, she went away with Mr. Simon.
Well, when a man with that amount of money whistles, you come running, don't you? Mind you, I was amazed to hear she'd been killed in a plane crash.
Amazed? Why?
Oh, well, April hated planes.
What?
She got airsick, you see. That was why she never flew.
You mean Mrs. Hammond never flew at all?
Well, not while I knew her, no. She always used to say the sight of an aeroplane made her sick.
This was a short flight, was it not? At a low altitude over some property?
All the more reason for not going, I'd have thought. Oh, unless she was determined to settle things with Louis one way or the other.
My lord, this is complete fantasy.
No further questions, my lord.
Now, Miss Turner, you said Mrs. Hammond had never flown as long as you had known her. For how long did you know her?
Ages.
Well, how long is that?
I don't know exactly.
About 6 months?
No.
A year?
More like 2.
2 years?
Yes.
And at that time you became her best friend.
Yes.
All the same, you could have no knowledge of Mrs. Hammond's flying habits prior to that time.
Only what she told me. She said she hated flying and would never go in a plane again.
You imply that there's something sinister in the fact that she changed her mind?
No, I'm just saying it's odd, that's all.
Why odd? I mean, if Mrs. Hammond was afraid of losing Mr. Simon, what more natural than that she should keep an eye on him, even if it meant going up in an aeroplane?
Well, there's your explanation, then.
And what's yours, Miss Turner?
What about?
Well, who told Mrs. Hammond of the existence of a rival?
What?
Well, someone presumably told Mrs. Hammond about this young lady Mr. Simon was presumably keeping in a flat in Knightsbridge.
Yes.
Well, who was it? Come now, it was you, wasn't it, Miss Turner?
Look, I don't see what this has got to do with anything.
Please answer the question, Miss Turner.
Well, I thought that April ought to know.
Yes, what was your motive?
Oh, friendship.
Friendship?
Look, I was April's best friend.
And how did you find out about the young lady in Knightsbridge?
I just heard.
From whom?
Oh, I don't know.
Miss Turner, someone must have told you.
Suppose
I mean,
so.
it didn't come to you in a dream.
No.
Well, who was it? Was it the plaintiff, Mr. Cummings?
No.
I suggest to you it was, Miss Turner. I suggest that your whole evidence is a tissue of lies designed to protect Mr. Cummings.
No, it's not.
What is your relationship with Mr. Cummings?
We're just friends.
Good friends? You seem to have a remarkable talent for friendship, Miss Turner. My lord, I see no point in continuing this cross-examination. The witness is obviously lying.
I'm not. I've told the truth.
Lord, unlike my learned friend, I see nothing sinister in a relationship between this witness and the plaintiff. Indeed, I submit that my learned friend is merely trying to discredit the witness.
Yes, but the time for speeches is later, Mr. Ingrams.
Yes, my lord. Miss Turner, are you Mr. Cummings' mistress?
No.
Have you ever been his mistress?
No.
You are, as you told the court, merely a friend of Mr. Cummings.
Yes.
How long have you known Mr. Cummings?
Oh, about 2 years now.
And you've met him socially?
Yes, lots of times.
Now, in the 2 years that you've known Mr. Cummings, have you ever witnessed him have a fit or turn or attack of any kind?
No.
Now, have you ever witnessed an epileptic attack?
Oh, yes. Yes, when I was at school, the girl
But
there,
you have
she
never
often had
seen Mr.
fits.
Cummings suffer a similar attack?
No.
No. Now, you were Mrs. Hammond's confidant, weren't you?
Yes.
And you described her marriage as a sick joke.
That's right.
Why?
Oh, because it was dead, finished.
Mrs. Hammond told you this?
Yes. Oh, yes. You see, she was married when she was 18. As far as she was concerned, it had all been over for years. She always used to call him the dope. And I'll tell you something else. He used to beat her up. April often told me that the...
I have no further questions for Miss Turner, my lord.
Thank you. You may leave the witness box, Miss Turner.
That concludes the case for the plaintiff, my lord.
Yes.
My lord, the first witness for the defence is the defendant herself, Mrs. Erica Simon. Your name is Erica Hammer Simon,
Yes,
and you are the widow of Louis Simon.
yes,
And you live at Les Hurtres, Montorgueil, Jersey.
I do.
Now, Mrs. Simon, are you a shareholder in Icarus Properties, Mr. Cummings' company?
Yes, much good it does me too, with him running things.
And did you distribute this broadsheet at an extraordinary general meeting of that company at the Crown Imperial Hotel in June 4th, 1973?
I had to do something. People should know about this.
And it's your contention, is it not, that the matter printed in this broadsheet is true?
Look, I wanted everyone to know the sort of man Edward Cummings is. He's a crook, and he killed my husband.
Mrs. Simon, I realise you feel very strongly about Mr. Cummings, but you must try to keep calm whilst you are giving your evidence.
My lord, I'm sorry. But true is true.
Yes. Now, Mrs. Cummings, Mrs. Simon, I'm sorry. How long have you known Mr. Cummings?
About 5 years.
Did you see
He was a business acquaintance of Louis, a friend. Such a friend.
Did you see him frequently?
Oh, all the time. Well, a lot of the time. He stayed with us in Jersey a few times and in Paris, and on our yacht. He was a friend. So I thought.
Now, on any of these occasions, did you observe Mr. Cummings at any time exhibit any unusual symptoms?
You mean have turns?
Yes.
I saw them.
Now, could you describe them to the jury, please?
Well, he used to go sort of pale and rigid, and look away from you, if you follow what I mean. It was as if he wasn't there or you weren't. It didn't last for more than a few seconds. The first time I saw it, well, it looked like he was thinking something, you know the way you do. But when I asked him once if he was all right, he said it was nothing, a touch of indigestion, got all embarrassed. But I knew it wasn't indigestion.
Did you ever suggest that Mr. Cummings should see a doctor?
Of course I did. I worried about him. I worry about everybody. Louis used to say it was a pity we didn't have children. Then I could use up all my worry on my family instead of wasting it on his friends.
Yes, Mrs. Simon. But what was Mr. Cummings' reaction when you suggested he should see a doctor?
He said it was nothing. He said he didn't like doctors. He said a man in his position couldn't afford to give the impression there was anything wrong with him. I said, what about Louis's piles? Everyone knows Louis always travels round with an air cushion. It never did Louis any harm in business.
Yes, indeed, Mrs. Simon. Mr. Cummings was worried about the effect the news of his seizures would have on business.
That's what he said.
She's lying.
So how can I lie? I just took an oath not to.
Mr. Cummings.
Oh, I'm sorry, my lord.
Now, Mrs. Simons, Mr. Cummings bought out your husband's share in Icarus Properties, did he not?
Yes.
But you retained some of your shares.
A few Louis gave me. I should have sold.
Now, why did your husband sell out his shares to Mr. Cummings?
Because he offered him a lot of money. But also because they had arguments.
Arguments?
Mr. Cummings was always jealous of Louis. Louis was more successful in business. Louis pulled off the big deals. Mr. Cummings wanted to be a Louis Simon.
How do you know that, Mrs. Simon?
Because he told me.
Mr. Cummings said he wanted to be another Louis Simon.
He said to me, Erica, he said, you just watch me now I'm on my own. I'll make Louis Simon look like small fry, he said. You'll be glad you've got those shares, he said.
Now, what happened to Icarus Properties when Mr. Cummings took over?
He tried to be a big property developer without enough capital.
And, of course, eventually he had to come to your husband to ask for capital.
Where else could he go? But he phoned me first.
Well, Mr. Cummings telephoned you?
Yes.
For what purpose?
To sweeten me up, you know, to see how I thought Louis would react.
When was this telephone call?
About a month before he killed Louis. He phoned me in Jersey. He says to me, Erica, put in a good word for me.
Did you?
I rang Louis in London. I told him.
What was your husband's reaction?
Reaction? He laughed. Trouble I don't need, he said. That kind of trouble I don't have to buy. I knew he'd never lend Ted Cummings a penny piece.
Yes, but your husband did go up in Mr. Cummings' aeroplane to look at the property.
Why not? Always be ready to talk business, Louis used to say. Even if you're not interested, maybe you'll learn something. That was the last time I ever spoke to him.
Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Simon.
Are you all right? Mrs. Simon, would you like me to adjourn the court for a few moments until you recover?
No, my lord. I'm all right.
Very well. Mr. Ingram.
Mrs. Simon, what were your relations with your husband?
I was married to him.
Yes, I know, Mrs. Simon, but were you fond of him?
I was married to him for 23 years. Does that tell you anything?
Yes, Mrs. Simon, it tells me you were married for a long time. It doesn't tell me whether it was a happy marriage or not.
We were very happy. Ask anyone.
How often were you with your husband in the last 6 months of his life?
How often? I didn't keep a diary.
Or did you and your husband spend months or weeks together in those last 6 months?
You must understand, Louis was away a lot of the
Mrs.
time
Simon,
on business.
is it not a fact that in the last 6 months of his life you and your husband were sharing the same roof for less than 3 weeks?
Maybe. I can't remember.
Mrs. Simon, in the last 2 years of his life, you and your husband were to all intents and purposes separated, weren't you?
There was no separation.
But you didn't live together or even see each other very often, did you?
All marriages have their bad patches.
Mrs. Simon, in 1969 you started divorce proceedings.
Well, yes, but I...
Why?
My lord, I protest Mrs. Simon's marriage is hardly the concern of this court.
Yes, but this all links up, does it not, with the plaintiff's evidence as to what he told Mrs. Simon when she came to see him in the hospital. I think Mr. Ingrams can ask these questions. Mr. Ingrams?
I'm obliged, my lord. Mrs. Simon, I asked you why you started divorce proceedings.
Well, like I said, even the best marriages go through bad patches.
1969 to 1973 is rather a long bad patch, I should have thought.
That's all you know about marriage?
Now, when you started divorce proceedings, what were the grounds? Mrs. Simon, there was another woman, wasn't there?
It didn't mean anything. That's why I didn't go through with the divorce.
Yet the bad patch, by your own admission, continued. In fact, it wasn't just one woman, was it? Your husband had a whole string of women, didn't he?
We had no children. After 20 years, it isn't easy to keep a man's interest. I was always plump. He used to like that. I was 18 when I married him. 18? What did I know about anything? But if he'd lived, it would have come all right. It was just a phase with Louis.
4 years is rather more than a phase, Mrs. Simon.
Not if you have a whole lifetime. But we didn't, thanks to Edward Cummings.
Now, that's not the only thing you blame Mr. Cummings for, is it?
I don't know what you mean.
You blamed Mr. Cummings, did you not, for the wreckage of your marriage?
Wreckage? What wreckage? 20 years of marriage and you call it a wreck? How long have you been married?
My marriage is not relevant to these proceedings.
Mrs. Simon, you are here to answer questions, not to ask them.
I put it to you, Mrs. Simon, that your obvious bitterness against my client derives not solely from the events of the crash.
You think I wanted Louis killed?
I think you blame Mr. Cummings for far more than crashing an aeroplane, Mrs. Simon. I think you blame Mr. Cummings because you believe that he supplied your husband with women. I think you're a jealous, angry woman, determined to do as much damage as you can.
Louis loved me. He loved me. You're just making up these stories to make him look better. 20 years we were married, 20 years. Do you think all his little trollops could change that?
The case of Cummings versus Simon will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. Three people were in the twin-engined Lapwing aircraft that crashed. Property tycoon Louis Simon and Mrs. April Hammond were the passengers. They were killed. The pilot, Edward Cummings, unsuccessful property developer, survived. The cause of that crash is one of the questions that the jury must answer on this, the last day of the case of Cummings versus Simon, which is being held in Fulchester Crown Court.
Are you recovered, Mrs. Simon?
Yes, my lord.
And you're quite sure that you feel capable of continuing with your evidence?
Yes.
Very well. I would remind you that you are still on oath, Mr. Ingrams.
Mrs. Simon, yesterday you described to us in lurid detail Mr. Cummings having what you described as one of his turns.
Yes.
Now, that description was pure fantasy, wasn't it?
No.
You are on oath, Mrs. Simon.
I know that. Look, I described exactly what happened, exactly how he looked.
Have you? Well, how many of these turns have you witnessed?
Several.
1, 2, 3?
I don't know exactly.
Approximately.
Well,
5, 10, 20?
I've told you, I don't know.
Well, did Mr. Cummings have one of these fits every time you met him?
No.
Every alternate time you met him?
No. I saw him have maybe 6 or 7.
Ah, 6 or 7.
Yes.
6 or 7 attacks in the whole of the time that you've known Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Now, how long have you known Mr. Cummings?
I don't know, about 5 years.
Well, that works out at a little over 1 attack a year.
Yes.
Now, these turns lasted, I think you said, just a few seconds.
Yes.
Mrs. Simon, you must have watched out very carefully for these alleged minor epileptic attacks.
I didn't watch carefully. They just happened. I saw them.
6 or 7 of them?
Yes.
In 5 years?
Maybe there were more. I can't remember.
You can't remember how many you saw Mr. Cummings have, but you can remember exactly what they were like in great detail.
You would if you'd seen them.
I don't think I would, Mrs. Simon, because I don't think you ever witnessed Mr. Cummings suffer from anything more than a passing indisposition, if that.
I saw him go all peculiar.
Why did you associate these alleged turns with epilepsy?
What?
Well, if, as you say, Mr. Cummings did suffer from these attacks in the way that you describe, why did you think that they were epileptic in origin?
What else could they be?
Indigestion, stomachache, a hangover, boredom, perhaps. Many, a dozen explanations. Why epilepsy?
I can't remember. Something I read, I think.
A clinical description of a petit malabsence, perhaps?
No. Look, I just can't remember.
The point is, isn't it, Mrs. Simon, that an accusation of migraine or stomachache wouldn't have affected Mr. Cummings' business career, would it?
Mr. Cummings only had a business career at all because of my husband.
And you were determined to take even that away from him?
I thought the shareholders had every right to know the sort of man who was manipulating their money.
Oh, I see. So you acted purely from principle.
Yes.
Public-spirited, altruistic.
Ted Cummings is a liar and a killer. I thought people ought to know it.
I put it to you, Mrs. Simon, that you acted out of malice. You hated Mr. Cummings because you saw in him, rightly or wrongly, a cause for the breakdown of your marriage.
Louis would have come back to me.
I suggest to you that all your evidence in this court, all your fantasies and inventions, are nothing more than malicious lies.
They're the truth. Look at him. He knows they are.
No more questions, my lord.
You do wish to re-examine Mr. Parsons?
Yes, indeed, my lord. Mrs. Simon, have you lied to this court?
No.
Has your evidence been motivated by malice?
Justice. That's all I ask for.
It is still your contention that Mr. Cummings crashed his plane either because he was suffering from an epileptic attack or because he wished to commit suicide.
Or maybe it was a combination of the two.
Now, you witnessed several of Mr. Cummings' attacks.
I did.
Now, what grounds do you suggest for Mr. Cummings wishing to commit suicide?
Well, he was in bad financial trouble, wasn't he? He had to go crawling first to me and then to Louis to try and get money. Then Louis turned up with that little slut, April Hammond. Louis wasn't interested in the deal. He told me so. What else was left for Edward Cummings but suicide? And he couldn't even make a good job of that. He killed my husband.
Thank you, Mrs. Simon.
You may leave the witness box, Mrs. Simon.
My lord, the last witness for the defence is Stephen Hammond. You are Stephen Hammond of 135 Knoll Road, Bedford.
I am.
And you are the husband of April Hammond, who died in the crash of Golf Alpha Papa Mike Papa.
Yes. April Hammond was my wife.
You're at present employed by Simon Associates.
Yes.
And when did you join Simon Associates?
3 months ago.
And prior to that, where were you employed?
Icarus Properties. I worked for Mr. Cummings for 4 years.
And what was your position there?
I was Mr. Cummings' personal assistant.
Now, what was the financial state of that company before you left it?
Parlous.
It was bad.
Icarus Properties was virtually broke.
Now, how long had the company been in that financial position?
Over a year.
Yes. Now, were you able to identify the cause of this financial malaise?
Yes.
What was that?
Mr. Cummings.
In what way was Mr. Cummings responsible?
He was incompetent.
Incompetent?
He was hopeless. But he was a very good front man, a good salesman, but when it came to finance, he didn't have a clue. If one could become a property tycoon on talk, Mr. Cummings would have been a Sid Heyman several times over. Unfortunately, talk isn't enough.
No, indeed. Now, would it be true to say that at the time of his air crash, Edward Cummings was in serious financial straits?
Serious? Disastrous is more like.
Now, why do you say that?
Well, he owed money all over the place. Louis Simon was his last chance of keeping afloat.
Yes. Now, there's been much talk in this court of Mr. Cummings' turns.
Yes.
Did you ever witness one of these turns?
Several times.
Yes. Could you describe the symptoms, please?
Well, they didn't last very long.
How long?
About 15 or 20 seconds, I suppose.
And what were the symptoms?
Well, he used to go very white and kind of stiff, and, well, it's very hard to describe. It was as if he'd gone away.
Gone away?
As if he wasn't there. I mean, his body stayed where it was, but he didn't, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
He was kind of vacant.
Yes. Did you mention these attacks to Mr. Cummings?
Well, 2 or 3 times I asked him if he was all right.
And what did he say?
Well, after a bit, he used to say, yes, fine, don't worry.
Yes. Did he tell you what these attacks were?
No, sir.
Did Mr. Cummings make any mention of these attacks?
No. He just seemed embarrassed that I'd noticed them.
Yes. How many of these attacks did you see?
About a dozen, I suppose.
Were they all roughly about the same time and length?
Well, it's very hard to say. It was just a few seconds, that was all.
Yes. Now, did they impair his ability to do business?
No, not that I could see. It was just a hiatus, a stop. Immediately afterwards, he'd go on doing whatever he'd been doing before. He'd take up the same train of thought or continue with whatever action he'd been doing.
Yes. What was your opinion of the nature of these attacks?
Well, I didn't have one.
Did you think they might be epileptic in nature?
Well, I didn't know. I don't know anything about epilepsy.
Yes. Now, Mr. Hammond, as my learned friend will no doubt remind you, you are on oath giving evidence in a court of law. You're quite certain that you saw these attacks.
Quite certain.
And they are as you have described them to us.
Yes.
Now, to your knowledge, did other people notice these attacks? I mean, people in the office?
Oh, yes. It was a kind of joke.
Yes. Did no one think these attacks strange?
Yes, but we didn't know that they were attacks. We didn't know what they were. After a bit, we didn't pay very much attention to them.
Yes, I see. Now, as regards your late wife, April Hammond, she is alleged to have been the mistress of Edward Cummings. Did you know this?
Yes. Well, not exactly no. I guessed.
Now, she's also alleged to have been Mr. Simon's mistress at the time of the crash.
Yes.
Now, were you and your wife separated?
No.
Was there a divorce pending?
No.
Did you love your wife, Mr. Hammond?
Yes, I think I must have done. Well, it's very difficult to tell now. It seems so long ago. I must have loved her. I put up with a lot.
Yes. Do you feel bitter about Mr. Cummings' relationship with your
well,
wife?
Of course I do. I mean, no man likes his wife to go off with a chancer like Cummings. But I feel more bitter about Mr. Simon. I mean, he was old enough to be her father.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Hammond, has your evidence in this court been motivated by malice?
No. No, I don't think so. I admit that I don't like Cummings. I didn't like Mr. Simon either. But April's been dead now. Seems like forever. 9 months. I'm not that obsessed by hate.
Yes. Now, Mr. Hammond, did your wife dislike flying?
Well, she wasn't very keen on it. She used to suffer from air sickness sometimes.
Were you surprised to find out she'd been killed in a plane crash?
No, not if it was a private plane.
Why a private plane?
Because only rich men own their own planes. She admired men with money.
This was Mr. Cummings' plane?
Anyone can make a mistake.
Did you ever strike your wife, Mr. Hammond?
No. Well, maybe that was what was wrong. Maybe I ought to have done.
Now, Miss Turner has told us that Mrs. Hammond told her that you did.
April wasn't the most reliable of informants.
No. Thank you, Mr. Hammond.
Mr. Hammond, are you a saint?
No.
Or a masochist?
No.
Oh, well, you must have enjoyed playing the complacent husband.
What do you mean?
Your wife was Edward Cummings' mistress.
Yes, I've said
He passed her on to Louis Simon.
What? I don't know the details.
Was Louis Simon intending to pass her on also, and to whom?
I don't know.
The plaintiff said that Mr. Simon liked them young.
So Cummings says.
Your wife was 27, a little long in the tooth, I'd have thought, for Mr. Simon's jaded palate.
Leave her alone.
Mr. Hammond, you say that you loved your wife.
Yes.
And you expect the jury to believe that you could watch her prostituting herself and that you felt no more than a saintly equanimity.
I hated what she was doing.
Yes, and you still hate it, don't you, Mr. Hammond?
I have told no lies here.
Your entire evidence was motivated by jealousy and hatred, wasn't it?
Not true.
All this nonsense about Mr. Cummings' alleged
It's
fits.
not nonsense. I saw them.
You didn't know that they were fits.
I knew there was something wrong.
When?
What?
When did you know that there was something wrong?
Well, I can't give you an exact
The
date.
first time that you saw Mr. Cummings have one of these alleged attacks?
No.
The second time?
No, it was just an impression
An
that
impression,
grew on
you
me.
said, but you told us before it was an office joke.
Well, so it was.
Well, we've dealt with the first 2 alleged attacks, Mr. Hammond. Now, at what time in the subsequent, I think you said that you witnessed about 12 attacks in all?
Something like
Yes,
that.
well, at what time in the subsequent 10 attacks did they become an office joke?
I don't know. People remarked about it, and
Yes, hearsay, my lord.
Yes.
he had these turns. I knew about them. Other people knew about them. Mrs. Simon knew about them.
In this court, Mr. Hammond, there is only you and Mrs. Simon, 2 witnesses with their own individual reasons for hating Mr. Cummings and wanting to see him brought down.
That's not how it is.
Where are you employed at present, Mr. Hammond?
Louis Simon Associates.
Who is the principal shareholder in that company?
Mrs. Simon.
What is your position in the company?
I'm personal assistant to the chairman.
Who is the chairman?
Mr. Lex Falkenstein.
Is Mr. Falkenstein related to Mrs. Simon?
Yes.
What is the relationship?
He's Mrs. Simon's brother.
In your opinion, is your job there secure?
I don't know.
Or does the security of your present employment depend upon the outcome of this trial?
My lord, I protest.
No further questions, my lord.
That was a most improper one.
Yes, my lord.
If I may, my lord. Mr. Hammond, my learned friend has just suggested that your present job depends on the evidence you give in this court.
Well, it's not true.
Now, let us not mince words, Mr. Hammond. Are you and Mrs. Simon in a conspiracy to discredit Mr. Cummings?
No.
Has Mrs. Simon at any time attempted to threaten or bribe you about the evidence you have given?
No, that would be unthinkable.
Yes, indeed it would, Mr. Hammond. Now, when your wife was the mistress of Mr. Cummings and then Mr. Simon, did your marriage continue normally?
Well, it depends what you mean by normal. We lived in the same house, we shared the same bed.
Is where your wife's infidelity is not a constant source of friction between
Yes,
you?
of course.
And you had rows about your association, it seems.
Yes.
Did you ever contemplate divorce or separation?
Yes, I contemplated it.
But you never carried it out?
No.
Why not?
How can I make you understand? April was harmless. I mean, she was pretty but silly. A bit naive, I suppose. And she was a lousy liar. She didn't want to hurt me, you see. She used to tell me all kinds of stories about where she was going, and she could never remember which story she told. She was a very poor liar.
Yes, how did she meet Mr. Cummings and Mr. Simon?
Through me. Through my job. Men like that fascinated her.
Men like what?
Men with power and influence and money. The financial buccaneers. They were exciting. I'm not. They could afford to take her to places I never could. A bit of the high life is all she wanted. Cummings and Simon took advantage of her. It's funny. When we got married, we decided we wouldn't have any children immediately. First, we'd get a bit of living in, we said. This was just April getting a bit of living in.
Surely she realized that she was hurting you.
Yes, and it made her very unhappy. That's how I always knew that that I didn't have to wait very long, that she'd come back to me.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Hammond.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond. You may leave the witness box.
That completes the case of the defence, my lord.
Yes, thank you. I think this would be an appropriate moment to adjourn. I will listen to pleas on behalf of the plaintiff and the defendant after a short recess.
All stand. All stand.
May it please your lordship. Members of the jury, certain facts in this case are not in dispute. For example, fact, Mr. Cummings was the pilot of the aeroplane that crashed near Fuste Aerodrome, killing his 2 passengers. Fact, Mrs. Simon published a broadsheet in which he accused Mr. Cummings either of crashing his aeroplane, one, because he was suffering from an epileptic attack, or, and two, he was wishing to commit suicide. Now, these are the facts. They are not in dispute. But let us look at a few more facts, which, in my opinion, lead to certain inevitable conclusions. For example, two witnesses, Mrs. Simon and Mr. Hammond, have said that Mr. Cummings was subject on occasions to certain strange, curious fits or turns. Now, these lasted only a few seconds. There is a type of epileptic seizure known as a petit mal absence. That is to say, a brief blank of consciousness. During this, a pilot would lose control of his aircraft, which is precisely what Mr. Cummings did. Another fact. We have heard that there was a fracture in the cabin heating system of the aircraft, which perhaps allowed some carbon monoxide to enter the cabin. But the question is, how much carbon monoxide? Enough to intoxicate the pilot? I think not. Otherwise, traces of carbon monoxide would have been found in the bodies of the two passengers. And another indisputable fact, no such traces were found. Now, Mrs. Simon has also described this crash as an attempted suicide. Does this interpretation fit the facts as we know them? Consider. Prior to the flight, Edward Cummings was in desperate financial straits, and the only solution to his problem was to approach his ex-partner, Louis Simon, to ask him for money to help finance the development of the property that Edward Cummings owned. The gravity of his situation was illustrated by the fact that he didn't even have planning permission to develop this property. Now, you have heard the taped radio message received in the control tower. Do you think it sounded as if Mr. Simon was interested in doing a deal? Put yourself in Mr. Cummings' position. You humble yourself before your ex-partner and approach him for money, and what does he do? He treats the whole thing as a jaunt. He turns up with the mistress he took from you and expects you to humble yourself once again in front of her. It's no wonder that Mr. Cummings said, "I've had enough. I can't go on any longer." Now I ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, does that not sound like the words someone who was contemplating suicide might say? I submit to you that in the facts laid before you, on the balance of probability, what Mrs. Simon published on June the 4th was true and legitimate comment upon the matter of common interest. Thank you.
May it please your lordship, members of the jury. My learned friend used the phrase, the balance of probabilities. Now, probabilities, members of the jury, are not fantasies or wild conjectures. They are reasoned assumptions based on solid fact. My learned friend also made great play of facts. Facts that are not in dispute and facts that are in dispute. Well, I suggest to you, members of the jury, that if a fact is in dispute, then it can hardly be regarded as a fact at all. Now, let us look at some of these probabilities. 1. Did Mr. Cummings suffer from epileptic fits or seizures? Answer: there is no independent, concrete evidence to suggest that he did. Now, 2 witnesses who both gave graphic accounts of these alleged seizures both have their own individual reasons for hating Mr. Cummings and for wishing to see him brought down. Quite apart from her personal feelings, Mrs. Simon stands to lose a great deal of money if you find, as I believe you must, in favour of my client, Mr. Cummings. As for Mr. Hammond, he's a weak man who had a slut for a wife, whom he lost first to Mr. Cummings and then to Mr. Simon. Mr. Cummings is still alive, and with him at least, Mr. Hammond can settle the score. 2. Did Mr. Cummings have a motive for suicide? Answer: well, true, Icarus Properties was in financial difficulties, but remember, it had not yet gone into voluntary liquidation. That only occurred, members of the jury, after the accident, after Mr. Cummings had spent weeks and weeks in hospital, and after Mrs. Simon published her alleged malicious libel. When Mr. Cummings took Mr. Simon up in his aircraft, he had no reason to suppose that Louis Simon was his last possible source of finance. And even if Mr. Simon said no, and there is no proof that he did say no, there were other sources of money available. So why should Mr. Cummings contemplate suicide? 3. Was there a mechanical defect, perhaps in the aircraft, which could account for the crash? Answer: it is an indisputable fact that there was a fracture in the cabin heating system that would have pumped carbon monoxide gas into the cabin. Not necessarily enough to affect the two passengers, perhaps, but just sufficient to cause Mr. Cummings to lose control of the aircraft. Now, is not this, members of the jury, all wild fantasy and conjecture aside, the most likely and reasonable cause of the crash? I suggest to you that it is. And if so, then you must find for my client, Mr. Cummings. And in view of his shattered business career, I ask you for massive damages against the defendant, Mrs. Simon. Thank you.
Members of the jury, my normal practice is to explain to you any legal issues or problems which may have arisen in the case you have just heard. But in fact, no such problems have arisen. The law is quite clear. On June the 4th, Mrs. Simon published certain opinions and accusations against the plaintiff, Edward Cummings. Now, her defense is based on what is called qualified privilege. That is to say, that the matters that constituted the alleged libel were true and a matter of fair comment on matters of common interest. Now, your duty is to decide on the balance of probabilities whether, in fact, Mrs. Simon did libel Mr. Cummings. Whether the matters contained in the broadsheet are true or false. Therefore, you will be asked two questions. One, did Mr. Cummings suffer from an epileptic condition which caused him to crash his aeroplane? And, or two, did Mr. Cummings contemplate suicide and deliberately crash his aeroplane? Now, if you find for the plaintiff, Edward Cummings, you will then have to assess what, in your opinion, is the correct amount of damages he should receive. Now, in this respect, you will remember that the broadsheets may have done considerable harm to Mr. Cummings' business career, causing his company Icarus Properties to go into voluntary liquidation. So you will have to decide to what extent the broadsheets contributed to the company's failure, and therefore how financially damaging the alleged libel was. Now, you have the details of Icarus Properties in the bundle of pleadings there. The jury will now please retire and consider your verdict.
Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached verdicts on which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find the plaintiff, Edward Cummings, was libelled by the defendant, Mrs. Erica Simon?
Yes.
Have you agreed on a sum for damages to be awarded to Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
And what is that sum?
£11,000.
Dr. Hayward, could you come here?
Next week, a chance for you to join another jury in assessing the facts when our cameras return to the Crown Court.